How to Talk in English. Elara possessed a remarkable ability. She understood English with almost native fluency. Complex documentaries, fast-paced podcasts, intricate novels, all were effortlessly absorbed by her keen mind. Yet, an invisible barrier stood between her understanding and her articulation. This silent struggle was a constant source of frustration, leaving her feeling incomplete and unheard in a world she otherwise comprehended. "I understand English but I can't speak well," she often lamented to herself, a quiet whisper in her own language. This sentiment echoed the feelings of countless language learners worldwide. The words were there, meticulously organized in her mental lexicon, but they refused to cross the threshold of her lips, trapped by an unseen force, a linguistic prison of her own making. The root of her dilemma lay deep within, a profound fear of making mistakes. Every potential conversation loomed as a high-stakes performance, where a single mispronounced word or grammatical error could lead to imagined ridicule. This paralyzing anxiety was a heavy cloak, smothering any nascent attempts at verbal expression before they even began to breathe. She longed for a way of learning English that transcended textbooks and grammar rules, a method that would bridge the chasm between her receptive and productive skills. Traditional classes focused on reading and listening, which she already excelled at, but offered little solace for her speaking paralysis, leaving her yearning for practical breakthroughs. One dreary afternoon, lost in the labyrinth of online forums, a peculiar phrase caught her eye: "How to talk at home to yourself." It sounded unconventional, even a little strange, but the desperation in her heart propelled her to explore this novel idea. Perhaps the key lay not in external validation, but in internal practice. The thought of conversing with thin air felt awkward at first, almost theatrical. "Learn English," she silently urged herself, "even if it's just with your reflection." She decided to treat her bathroom mirror as her first, most forgiving audience. No judgment, no awkward silences, just her own hesitant voice echoing back. Her initial attempts were tentative, a mere whisper of "good morning" to her toothbrush. Then, "What a lovely day," she murmured to the sunlit window. These simple utterances, devoid of pressure, slowly chipped away at the colossal wall of her self-consciousness, planting tiny seeds of courage in her previously barren speaking landscape. She began describing her surroundings, narrating her daily chores. "I am making coffee now. The water is boiling. I need to add sugar." Each mundane act became an opportunity for verbalization, turning her quiet home into a private language laboratory where she was both the sole student and the tireless instructor, a truly unique approach. This "start step-by-step talking" method proved surprisingly effective. She recorded her monologues on her phone, playing them back not to criticize, but to identify areas for gentle improvement. The sound of her own voice, imperfect yet persistent, gradually became less alien and more a familiar companion on her linguistic journey. "Why you should practice speaking" became her internal mantra. She realized that understanding was merely one half of the equation. True mastery required active engagement, even if it meant stumbling through sentences alone. The act of forming words, however flawed, was building muscle memory in her tongue and mind. Her confidence grew with each passing day. She progressed from describing objects to articulating her thoughts and feelings. "I feel tired today," she'd say. "I wonder what I should cook for dinner." These internal conversations allowed her to experiment with vocabulary and sentence structures without the fear of external judgment. The question, "I don't want to make mistake but I always why," lingered, but its grip began to loosen. She started viewing mistakes not as failures, but as invaluable signposts on the road to fluency. Each misstep illuminated a path for correction, becoming a silent teacher rather than a public humiliation. This period of intense self-dialogue was a very interesting story in itself. Elara was sculpting her English voice in solitude, a process invisible to the outside world, yet profoundly transformative within. It was a testament to the power of dedicated, private practice and unwavering self-belief, a truly personal odyssey. She practiced storytelling to herself, recounting her day's events or inventing fantastical narratives. This imaginative exercise stretched her linguistic boundaries, forcing her to recall specific vocabulary and construct complex sentences on the fly, mimicking real-time conversation flow without the social pressure. Her kitchen became her debate club, where she argued both sides of an issue, playing multiple characters. The living room transformed into her lecture hall, where she delivered impassioned speeches to imaginary audiences. Her entire home became a stage for her linguistic development, fostering uninhibited expression. The more she talked, the more natural the words felt. The internal translation process, once slow and laborious, began to speed up, blurring the lines between thought and English expression. Her brain was recalibrating, shifting from understanding input to generating output with increasing ease and fluidity. One evening, while watching an English movie, she found herself spontaneously repeating dialogues, matching the actor's intonation and rhythm. This active mimicry was a breakthrough, signaling a new level of auditory processing merging with her burgeoning speaking ability, a subconscious form of advanced practice. She started noticing her progress not just in her internal monologues, but in her improved ability to think directly in English. The need to translate from her native language diminished significantly, indicating a deeper integration of English into her cognitive processes, a remarkable achievement she never thought possible. This self-driven approach taught her that fluency wasn't about eradicating errors, but about embracing them as integral parts of the learning curve. It was about consistent effort, about showing up every day for herself, and about finding joy in the small victories, no matter how insignificant they seemed initially. The fear of making mistakes had been her biggest hurdle, but by making countless mistakes in the privacy of her home, she desensitized herself. The word mistake lost its terrifying power, becoming just another word, like hello or thank you, a natural part of the imperfect, human process of learning. Her vocal cords, once stiff and uncooperative, were now more pliable, accustomed to forming English sounds. The subtle nuances of pronunciation, which once eluded her, were slowly becoming second nature through repetitive, low-stakes practice, a testament to the brain's incredible adaptability and capacity for growth. The way of learning English that worked for Elara wasn't a magic formula but a persistent commitment to start step-by-step talking. It was about creating a safe, non-judgmental space for herself to experiment, stumble, and rise again, a personal journey of self-discovery through language. She realized that listening comprehension, while crucial, often created a false sense of security. Understanding did not automatically translate to speaking. The two skills required different neural pathways and distinct forms of practice. Speaking demanded active production, a skill best honed through consistent, deliberate practice. Elara even began singing along to English songs, paying attention to the lyrics and trying to articulate them clearly. This playful activity reinforced her pronunciation and rhythm, making learning feel less like a chore and more like an enjoyable pastime, a delightful blend of education and entertainment. Her journey was a quiet revolution. No grand classroom, no demanding teacher, just Elara and her unwavering commitment to her goal. Her progress was a testament to the power of self-motivation and the effectiveness of unconventional learning methods, a truly inspiring tale of linguistic perseverance. The initial awkwardness of talking to herself had long faded, replaced by a comfortable familiarity. Her internal conversations flowed naturally, becoming a seamless extension of her thoughts, a constant stream of English expression that fortified her linguistic muscles without external pressure or scrutiny. She discovered that articulating thoughts aloud, even to an empty room, helped solidify grammar rules and vocabulary in her mind more effectively than rote memorization ever could. The act of speaking was a powerful reinforcement mechanism, etching the language deeper into her memory and recall. Her "How to Learn English" mantra transformed from a desperate plea into a confident declaration: just speak, consistently, no matter how imperfectly. This simple truth, discovered through her personal odyssey, became the cornerstone of her learning philosophy, a beacon guiding her forward. One day, a small opportunity arose. A foreign tourist approached her for directions. Instead of defaulting to gestures or a brief, broken reply, Elara found herself confidently explaining the route, forming complete sentences, even if they weren't perfectly polished. A profound sense of accomplishment washed over her. The conversation wasn't flawless. She stumbled over a few words, corrected a grammatical error mid-sentence. But she didn't panic. The fear was gone, replaced by a quiet determination to convey her message. This real-world application confirmed the immense value of her home-based practice. This was her very interesting story, unfolding in real time. From a person who understood everything but spoke nothing, she was now a functioning communicator. The tourist thanked her profusely, unaware of the years of silent struggle and the private triumphs that led to this brief interaction. Emboldened by this success, Elara began seeking out more opportunities to speak, albeit small ones initially. Ordering coffee, asking for help in a shop, engaging in brief pleasantries with strangers, each interaction was a tiny step forward, building upon the foundation laid by her solitary practice. She understood why you should practice speaking with a newfound clarity. It wasn't just about showing off, it was about genuine connection, about participating in a wider world of ideas and experiences that had previously been inaccessible to her verbal self. Her pronunciation improved dramatically as she consciously mimicked native speakers and paid attention to her own recordings. The subtle nuances of English phonetics, once a mystery, gradually revealed themselves through persistent, focused self-correction, enhancing her overall clarity. The constant internal dialogue had cultivated a rapid response time. When someone spoke to her in English, her brain was already primed to formulate a reply, reducing the awkward pauses that once plagued her interactions, making conversations flow more smoothly and naturally. She started listening to her favorite English podcasts and actively summarizing them aloud to herself. This exercise honed her ability to condense information and express it succinctly, a crucial skill for effective communication in any language, elevating her speaking prowess. Her vocabulary, once passively recognized, now became actively usable. Words and phrases that she had only understood in context began appearing spontaneously in her self-talk and, subsequently, in her real-world conversations, expanding her expressive range. The experience taught her that learning a language is less about perfection and more about progress. It's about showing up, being vulnerable, making mistakes, and continuing to move forward, one word, one sentence, one conversation at a time, celebrating every small advancement. Elara's journey underscored the power of consistency. Even 15 minutes of focused self-talk daily yielded far greater results than sporadic, intense bursts of study, proving that steady effort truly wins the linguistic race, building momentum over time. She found immense joy in her newfound ability to express herself. It wasn't just about speaking English, it was about reclaiming her voice, about unlocking a part of her personality that had been silenced for too long, allowing her true self to shine through. Her story became an inspiration to her friends who struggled similarly. How to talk in English, they'd ask. Elara would simply smile and share her simple, yet profoundly effective, step-by-step talking method, emphasizing the importance of daily, private practice. She encouraged them to embrace their, "I don't want to make mistake but I always why" moments. Mistakes are your greatest teachers, she'd say. They show you where to focus your energy, where to improve. Don't fear them, learn from them. Her home, once a sanctuary of silent understanding, became a vibrant hub of spoken English, filled with her narratives, her arguments, her songs, and her laughter. It was a space where she could freely experiment and grow without inhibition, a truly personal linguistic playground. The transformation was not just external, it was deeply internal. Elara's self-confidence blossomed, extending beyond her English-speaking ability to encompass other areas of her life. The courage she found in language permeated her entire being, empowering her in unforeseen ways. She learned that the journey of how to learn English is intensely personal. While resources and teachers are valuable, the ultimate responsibility and the most impactful practice lies within oneself, cultivated through consistent, dedicated, self-driven effort, tailored to individual needs. Elara often thought back to her initial fear, the sheer panic at the idea of speaking. Now, that fear felt distant, replaced by an eagerness to connect, to share, to express, a testament to the profound shift in her mindset and capabilities. Her advice to others embarking on this path was simple: how to talk at home to yourself. Just start. Narrate your day. Describe your thoughts. Don't aim for perfection, aim for consistency. Your voice is waiting to be heard. The way of learning English, she discovered, was a reminder that true fluency isn't about accent or grammar, it's about effective communication. It's about being understood and understanding others, connecting human to human, transcending linguistic barriers. Elara's very interesting story demonstrates that the biggest obstacle to speaking English is often not a lack of knowledge, but a fear of perceived failure. Overcoming this internal hurdle is the true gateway to verbal fluency and confidence. She continued to practice daily, her English evolving with every spoken word, every new interaction. The journey was ongoing, filled with new discoveries and continuous refinement, a lifelong adventure in linguistic mastery. Her initial frustration transformed into an empowering narrative. What began as a question, how to talk in English, culminated in a resounding answer, through consistent self-belief and brave, step-by-step vocalization, no matter the imperfections. The power of speaking, even alone, reshaped her brain's capacity to access and deploy English instantly. It forged new neural pathways, making the leap from comprehension to articulation seamless and almost unconscious. This profound internal shift highlights why you should practice speaking every single day. It's not about grand stages, but about consistent, small acts of courage in your own private world, building momentum quietly. Elara's story serves as a beacon for anyone trapped in the silent understanding trap. Her message is clear: your voice deserves to be heard, and the journey begins with that first hesitant, yet powerful, word to yourself. So, if you understand English but can't speak well, remember Elara. Start step by step talking, embrace every mistake, and transform your home into your personal English speaking laboratory. Your voice awaits.